am Will Jamerson. This is my journey. Born in Greenville, Mississippi. Moved here in the 80s. My mom, sisters, to Houston. How the art came about was started with a piece of bread.
Piece of bread.
Yeah, I made a dinosaur out of a piece of bread when I was about 6, and they thought that was fascinating. So my sisters took it to my mom. My mom bought me clay, and the rest, it kind of flourished from there. Now the artwork came a little later. Around about 8, 9, I started drawing things that I saw on television.
Oh, wow.
And I can copy things like to the T. So I didn't think it was a big deal about it. I didn't think that was special. So I really did. So,
okay. Well, let's take a step back slightly.
Okay.
Greenville, Mississippi, let's say late 70s?
Yes, late 70s. Born in 1972.
Born in 72, okay. So during that time, what was your upbringing like? Was your father around? What was the upbringing like?
Well, yeah, he was around up until I could say about 7 or 8, and after that they got a divorce or separated, okay. And then so we moved here a little later on to Texas.
Okay.
And
after the divorce.
After the divorce, yeah.
Did that divorce have an impact on you that you remember?
It really didn't, because he was still around, and I didn't really notice a lot of things. I was young, okay. So I really didn't, he was still around. I go see, stay with him, and then I'll come back home. But it really didn't affect me until we moved to Texas.
Okay. And what was your mother? So, in terms of your upbringing, what was your mother like in terms of what was her expectations of you as a young boy, growing up? How did she deal with raising a boy?
Well, being the only son, expectations was pretty high.
Okay.
So I guess. Yeah. So
okay.
Things changed.
Yeah.
Things happened.
Right.
So but it was okay. So, only thing that affected me is when we moved, from Greenville.
You moved from Mississippi.
From Mississippi, so
to Houston.
Yeah.
And your sister, she's older?
I have 5. Well, yeah, I had 5 sisters.
5 sisters, okay.
Yeah.
Now, how was that? Growing up in a house?
Oh man,
I guess you don't know anything else.
That was a nightmare. Yeah, to be honest, it wasn't. Being the only boy out of all those sisters.
Right.
But it teaches you, it kind of teaches you how to appreciate women. You learn different things growing up around a lot of women, what to do and pretty much what not to do.
Right.
So
that's the most important thing.
Yeah, that's the most important thing, is what not to do.
Gotcha.
So that kind of taught me,
okay.
On how to act, so to speak.
Okay, gotcha. So at that age, you're still learning a lot of things. You get uprooted somewhat and you move to Houston. I think you're still young enough. So at that point, moving to Houston, was there any drastic difference for you at that age? Like, did you notice any major changes other than maybe losing some friends?
Yeah, I kind of went into a shell.
Yeah.
I never talked as much. I didn't talk back then. I didn't. So, I did go into a shell. Okay. And then this was my only, art was the only escape to take me out of a lot of things. I played with clay a lot. Everything that I saw on TV, I can make. So that kind of helped me out.
In school, did you, was there an art teacher? Did anybody notice anything?
Yeah.
At that age, we're still 8,
Yeah,
9 years old, I'm thinking, at this
yeah.
point.
Second grade
Second grade.
was
Okay.
when they noticed they in my art class they asked everybody to do something, you know, and of course I kind of took over. You know, I did some stuff that they wasn't ready for, so it kind of elevated me
Do
to.
you remember what you did?
Um,
Or just some of the pieces or things
I
that you
think it
did
was
early on?
I made a volcano or something, and I used I took a fan apart in the fan generator, and it made lava and it made it go up. You know, it kind of took it. You know, you can see lava coming out of the volcano. It was
That was the next level.
yeah, that was some next level. I made an engine too out of that same thing. Oh man, I was So
Okay.
tearing up things, taking things apart,
Yeah.
putting them back together that was
Okay.
kind of my thing.
Okay, so that time period, growing up, you're still, so let's say 7, 8, 9. Now let's going through junior high and high school. Were there any endeavors that you remembered art-wise, creatively, anything that you did or that anyone noticed about you?
Well,
Get into like your early teens.
my teens, it wasn't about art. You know, my teens was totally different.
Okay.
You know, like I said, I went into a shell.
Okay.
And I kind of I rebelled against a lot of people.
Ah.
You know.
Okay.
So yeah, family.
Okay. Okay.
I had my reasons, you know. So I kind of went to the streets.
Okay.
You know, my
here in Houston.
Yeah, here in Houston. So
where did you hang? What was your spot? Spending most of your time.
Southwest side of Houston.
Okay.
Southeast. Okay. And the only person that I kind of talked to, still didn't talk, but to kind of get me open was my uncle.
Okay.
So, he would come get me every now and then we'll, spend time to kind of get me back to where I was, make me do puzzles, to keep my mind going,
So let's take us there for a second. So you say you went to the streets. You were in this shell. What exactly? What were you getting involved in? If you don't mind.
Everything.
Everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean everything that was going on in the streets.
Okay.
Yeah.
You was out there.
I was out. Hey, I was out there, man.
Okay.
So I was out there, and coming from a sort of a violent era, back then, you had to be to survive. Okay. So survival of the fittest, so to speak. Okay. So I kind of, that's where I headed.
And so during that period, was the creativity and was the art stuff kind of like not in play at this point, or
not
really come up?
It didn't really come up as a major. No, I drew a little bit, but I didn't really. I didn't think this was anything special. I didn't. I didn't think this was. I didn't think this. People said it was a gift. I didn't see it as a gift. I didn't. This was like, I thought everybody can do this. I did. Everybody can. People tell me they can't draw stick people, but I didn't believe that. So I didn't think this was my calling. I didn't really look at it like that, until, when you have a positive person talking to you, telling you what you need to do, and then the streets is, talking to you, things you kind of, it's sort of a, the metaphor of the angel and the devil on one side, and yeah, that's how it kind of take that, so.
Gotcha. Was there a turning point where you said, I don't want to deal with the streets anymore? Kind of take us back to that time, that point in time. Like what happened?
Well, the turning point was, prison. That was the turning point. Yeah. You need to wake up. That was like,
How old were you at this time?
This was, I went 20. Okay. That was my turning point. I went to prison, and I started back drawing. You know, just for competition. You know, that's how it was. It was all about bragging rights or who's the best.
In prison?
Yeah.
Okay.
On who's the best on the unit.
Okay.
That's how I started drawing with my fingers thing, with the Vaseline, using Vaseline to make the color spread, and that kind of took me to the finger work to get it down, you know, to a kind of a science.
Okay.
Came home. This you know, this was my wake up call. And you know, when you do 5 years of your life is wasted on nothing. You know, when you can, that was my wake up call. And that was, if I wouldn't have been to prison, man, I wouldn't be here though. You would have never met me.